Good morning, class 7. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing great and fine and taking care of yourselves. So, we are on English Today, page 114, and poem is To a Skylark by P.B. Shelley. So, Mr. Shelley, Percy Bysshe Shelley was in 1792 to 1822 is one of the most prominent poets of the 19th century. He's one of the major English Romantic poets. Both Shelley's poetry as well as views expressed his wisdom and vision and radicalism. His famous poems include Ozymandias, Ode to the West Wind, and verse drama Prometheus Unbound. He had a deep appreciation for nature, which is the primary source of poetic inspiration for him. Most of poets are all nature lovers. You have to be a nature lover to write something. So let's come to skylark. It's a bird and it sings very nicely, skylark. And so he's comparing, he wants to become like a skylark and he's wanting to know how what a skylark does and what it means. So what actually the poet means, this is Shelley's romantic ode, or now we'll say that what is ode. um, that's I have to explain it to you, like you guys won't know what is ode. Ode is something, an ancient Greek word for romanized. It's a typical lyrical stanza. It's an structured poem praising or glorifying an event or individual, describing nature. That is ode. So if we can take an example, it's a poetic form, uh, praising something. A famous example is John Keats' ode on Grecian urn. Apparently, Keats was really into urns. The word ode comes from the Greek word for long, or for long. I'm saying for song. And like a song, an ode is made up of verses. It's a poetic form. So here, the Skylark song surpasses all music. It's a divine expression, an ideal beyond the reach of humans. Who knows happiness is only through sadness? The theme is actually to a skylark is the power of nature to transform men's lives, especially through the medium of poetry. He's trying to tell the skylark, he asked the bird to teach him half the gladness which he has, that thy brain must know. For then he would overflow with harmonious madness, and his song would be so beautiful that the world would listen to him even as he is now listening to the skylark. He's saying, give me half of your gladness, your happiness, so that I can enjoy it. You know, in the spring when he spent a week or two near Leghorn, Livermore. It was a beautiful summer evening while wandering among the lanes whose myrtle hedges were the bowers of the fireflies, that we heard the caroling of the skylark. You know, he's a small brown bird, somewhat larger than a sparrow but smaller than a starling. It's streaky brown with a small crest which can be raised when the bird is excited or alarmed, and a white sided tail. The wings also have white rear edge. They fly together, They sing very nicely. The poem begins with a description of the skylark high above in the sky. The bird is characterized as a spirit. Okay. So, is a 21 stanza ode, but we are just going to do few of it, and strictly formatted pattern. It's an ode to the blithe essence of singing skylark and how human beings are unable to ever reach that same bliss. The poem begins with the speaker spotting a skylark flying above him. He can hear the song clearly, but the bird's song unpremeditated. It's unplanned and beautiful. What meanings are there in the book? Unpremeditated means here not planned. They just suddenly come over that place. The poem begins with the speaker spotting a skylark flying above him. He can hear the song clearly, the bird's song, unpremeditated, it's unplanned and beautiful. Shelley is stunned by the music produced by the bird and entranced by its movement as it flies into the clouds and out of sight. Although he can no longer see it, he is still able to hear it and feels its presence. The bird represents pure, unbridled happiness that Shelley is desperately seeking. Desperation comes through in the next stanzas. The poet then actually embarks on a number of metaphors through which he is hoping to better understand what the bird is and what he can accurately compare it to. He sees the bird on a high-born maiden, then serenades her lover below her, and spring or vernal showers that rain of flowers below. The skylark is like rainbow clouds and the epitome of all joyous things. In the next section of the ode is used to ask the skylark to reveal what inspires it to sing such a glorious song. Is it, the poet asks, fields or waves or mountains? Could it be, he speculates, shapes of the sky or plain? Whatever it may be, Shelley has never seen anything that could force such sounds from his own voice. He states that for a creature to have the ability to sing in such a way must know nothing of sorrow or annoyance. The birds must have an ability to see beyond life, understand death, and feel no concern about it. That is why humans may never reach that same state of happiness that the skylark exists. We pine for things that we do not have, and even our sweetest songs are full of saddest thoughts. The poem concludes with the poet leading with the bird to teach him half the gladness that thy brain must know. Even the small amount would provide Shelley with the ability to produce harmonious madness that would force the world to listen to him as raptly as he is listening to the skylark now. To get that happiness, little bit, even half of it. Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that thou, heaven or near it, pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. To a skylark begins with the speaker, Shelley, as it was detailed in the introduction, pointing out to the skylark in the sky. He calls out to the bird not in greeting but in reverence, hail to thee, giving respect. Hail to thee. He is amazed at the sight, and as the reader will later discover the song of the bird, he refers to the bird as a blithe spirit, meaning happiness or joyful. But Shelley sees this bird as an epitome of joy. It is less a bird and more of an essence, a spirit. It is the best of all birds. It appears to so beautiful to Shelley at the moment that he claims it has come from heaven or at least from somewhere near it. The bird is swooping in the sky and pouring from its heart a song that is described as profuse or abundant, uncountable and full of unpremeditated, suddenly art, it's an artful song that is not planned or scripted and is therefore all the more beautiful. I'll come back in the next video.